Oh yeah, the TikToks are being troll. Yeah, like I found it really funny because I knew people would fall for it. They're like, oh, that makes sense. The first boss, this is Dark Souls. You gotta fight it. No, the only non-optional boss you have to fight for a while, or when you first get into the game, is the one you're supposed to die to, unless if you just are really good. Like the six-legged thing, that's not optional. You're supposed to die to that. Oh yeah, heck yeah, man. That's my favorite part about Souls game, is killing the boss. You just feel like such a badass. You're like, I did it. I'm this small fry, and I just killed this two-story, three-story beast of an enemy. Got the bug. What bug? The beetles that roll around? Or the bug to play Dark Souls games? I should say Soulborn. That's what Elden Ring is a Soulborn. Yeah. I do feel like Elden Ring is a really good introduction for the majority of people. It's the easiest to get into, but I also believe this is a hot take for a lot of people. They think Elden Ring is the most easiest out of all the Souls games. I don't believe that's true. It's easiest to get into, but after you start playing, it becomes a traditional Souls game, which then becomes very hard. Oh, didn't need to destroy that one. Yeah, wait until you fight like Morgott or something. How have you been making it harder for yourself? Are you doing the parry challenge, or are you doing a dex build? Dex build isn't a harder challenge, by the way. I just don't do dex builds. I have my dex mid-maxed, so I can use most weapons, but oof. That's gotta hurt. I say that, but like those souls start feeling like nothing. Like 1500 runes, that sucks for you. Early game. Late game, you're like, oh no, I lost 1500 runes. What am I gonna do with those? That's like a couple of enemies, if that. Maybe sometimes even just one enemy. Yeah, you should definitely go like sit at grave sites and like level up. Are you going for like a certain build, or are you just like throwing yourself at bosses? Because if you're going for a strength build, of course you want to put everything into strength and vigor. Some decks just so you can use certain weapons. No, just like an idiot, I suppose I should spend the time to explore. Yeah, Elden Ring is very much a game where it's more about exploring the map than fighting bosses. Unlike most Souls game, it's more like go to boss, explore the linear level, kill a boss, explore the linear level, kill a boss. Elden Ring, it's like, hey, like I can tell you Limgrave is the biggest part of that map, and there's at least, from memory, I know there's at least 3 separate caves that are like mining caves. Two catacombs, if not 3 or 4. I'm not talking about the cell or the red area where you eventually meet, like not counting that, but like just in the area, it's like 2 to 3. I think it's 2 mines, like 3 caves, 2 catacombs, and a couple just like wandering bosses. The first area is big, and you should really explore it to get like the max out of it. To be fair, if Elden Ring's your first Souls game, it's a good Souls game. It's one of those things though where you gotta just know what you're doing. Dragon? Oh, you're talking about the one in the lake? Talking about the one in the lake. I already knew about it. How's this dome coming along? This dome's looking nice. Rare blast with a torture flame. Oh yeah, give me a second. I gotta go to the restroom. The bees are gonna look pretty purty in here. But yeah, my at least for Elden Ring, my my best advice is to just explore the map, level up, stuff like that. Because like, unless if you're a pretty confident Souls player, you're probably gonna have a hard time for a while until you like learn the game. How hard is the dragon? Good question. He is and is not hard. I don't know, that sounds like okay. It's like, if you know how to fight the dragons, he's not hard. But you don't know how to fight the dragons, so he's hard. I would just say try to run away from fire. You'll eventually get out of his range. When he's in the air and like pouncing on you and like diving at you, just roll once he gets like really, really close to the ground. Easier than the tree sentinel. It's really kind of no, he's easier. He has a health bar, but he definitely dies faster. The tree sentinel is literally there as a gatekeeping. Like, yes, he is very strong in that game. Usually it takes like 10 or 20 tries, but I can get their patterns timed. Sounds like a true strength build right there. Add strong and keep fighting it until you win. It's a pretty easy attack pattern. Like, everybody in, like, one of the good things about Souls games is Miyazaki is very kind with animations. Now, Elden Ring's a little bit, he's an asshole because everybody has time delay attacks. Like normal people, like humanoids, have a lot of time delays. Dragons really don't. 50 to 60 attempts. Sounds like a true strength build. And hi, Lorraine, how are you doing? I'm gonna assume you meant like he only has 4 patterns. I'm doing good. We got a little, our B area starting to come together. It's looking very nice. I'm gonna worry about lighting it up later. Once I get the building constructed, I will then worry about lights. That way I know what I'm looking for and what I want to do. This cornerstone has really opened my eyes to not just, because my first thought was just to put a bunch of sea lanterns in the ground and looking good and stuff. But I realized in one of the builds I just did in Cornerstone, hanging lanterns are a thing. That can definitely, and it won't look bad even with glass ceiling. Have lanterns hanging down on like what they're called, chains. It'll look just fine. Now I'm getting ideas for how I want to light this area up. I mean, out here, it's probably gonna be like lamps, stuff in the grass, stuff like that. This task is a lot less boring than putting grass in the hole. They're saying I sort of on the right path, just keep going. Yeah, I mean, there's not a wrong path, you know? I mean, the only wrong path is that somehow you ended up at Melania and never fought any of the bosses, which that's not possible. You have to fight bosses to get to her. But, like, nobody's gonna tell you you did something wrong unless if they're like a gatekeeping kind of person that's like, oh, you didn't play Souls right because you didn't use a blood build, or you used a blood build so you're playing it wrong. Like, I don't know. I'm a person that's like, I like to give myself a challenge in parrying humanoid enemies, so like regular people looking enemies, and big bonk big enemies. And so I give myself that challenge, but a lot of people will be like, and so a lot of people think that's the right way of going about it, but yeah, I might give you some shit if you were using magic, just because magic is relatively easy in that game. Magic in most Souls games are easy just because it does big damage. You can keep casting, and so, yo, this song's a banger. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep going. I have no clue what anything you said about builds meant. So, have you leveled up at all in Elden Ring, Phil? Because if you haven't, you need to. And I'm not going to tell you what kind of build you want, because that's a personal preference. But, like, let's say you can touch magic if you want. Actually, it's not bad to have a couple spells. Like, I have some faith spells, or incantations, you might say, that provide passive healing and strength. They're not bad. Like, magic is one of those things where if you want to feel like a wizard, feel like a wizard. I don't know why I put that there. If you don't want to feel like a wizard and you want to be One Punch Man, be One Punch Man. If you want to feel like some badass swordsman, be a badass swordsman. So you've leveled up like 3 times and put everything into vigor. Okay, I mean, that's not a bad start. You're gonna have plenty of health. Yeah, so you're putting stuff into vigor, and it's just increasing your max health, which is fine. Early game, it's not bad. Definitely probably helped you a little bit here and there in this Tree Sentinel. And Lorraine, my week has been good. My Cornerstone videos are doing well, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, man. So, like, what you want to do to be a swordsman, if that's the route you want to take, probably put some stuff into strength. I forgot, and then find like good armor, so you don't poise break as easy. And I know that sounds like what the heck is a poise break? It's basically like, let's say you're shielding. Like, you're holding up your shield and somebody bats on you, and then all of a sudden your character just, like, you hear a tink, or like a, I forgot the noise, but basically your character throws up its arm, and like let's say if the NPC or AI like does a cool move on you, you just got poise breaked. But or another way of looking at it is early game, you don't really got to worry too much about it, but like let's say you get stunned a lot and you can't maneuver out of getting hit because like you're stunned, your poise is really good for that. And I don't know what stat puts it poise. Yes and no. So that's just you getting knocked over. And then technically if you hit B, you get up really fast. Or if hit A, you get up faster. But sometimes you don't want to get up faster. Like, because you technically have invincibility frames there. Like in a dragon's breath, you don't want to stand up all the way. Because if you're towards the end of it, and he's still spewing and he hits you and knocks you down, and then you slowly wait for your character to get back up, he will most likely, they are going to be in invisibility frames for the whole animation of getting up until the very end, and then they won't be. So then they'll start taking damage. But if the flames have gone out by then you don't have to worry about them. You basically just got a free, like, get out of free jail card because you got knocked over and then sat up. Ooh. I don't know how well it runs on PS4. I assume it runs pretty alright. I guess what PS4 are you using? PS4 Pro, PS4? Because I doubt an original PS4 it runs great on. I played it, and you can watch it. You can watch me play all the Soulsborne's games on my channel, but like I played most of them on a Xbox Series X.
No problem.